Take a free electrician practice test to study for your electrician license exam. Question 1. Where insulated power and lighting conductors are installed in raceways, an ampacity adjustment must be applied where I. There are more than 3 current carrying conductors in the same raceway. 2. An ambient temperature other than 86 degrees Fahrenheit is encountered. I only, 2 only, either 1 or 2, both 1 and 2. Part 3 of Article 310, Conductors for General Wiring, covers the general installation requirements for conductors rated up to and including 2000 volts. Section 310.14 b tells the reader the ampacity of each conductor within a raceway needs to be corrected for ambient temperatures other than 30 degrees Celsius 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, Section 310.14 c tell us the ampacity of each conductor is to be adjusted as shown in Table 310.15 c 1, where the number of current carrying conductors within a raceway or cable exceeds 3. Question 2. According to the Code, flexible metal conduit, FMC, enclosing circuit conductors is not approved for use as a type of an equipment grounding conductor in lengths exceeding for feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet. Part 6 of Article 250 explains the wiring methods and installation requirements for equipment grounding and equipment grounding conductors. Section 250.118 lists the approved types of equipment grounding conductors. 250.122, 5d, specifies where flexible metal conduit, FMC, is longer than 6 feet it is not considered an effective ground fault current path. Question 3. Where a single 125-volt, single-phase, 20-ampere receptacle outlet located in an attached garage of a dwelling unit is provided for a central vacuum assembly, the receptacle outlet is required to have GFCI protection, AFCI protection, LCDI protection, a non-metallic faceplate. Article 210 provides the general requirements for branch circuits. Section 210.8, A2, requires all 125-volt through 250-volt, single-phase receptacles installed in residential garages to be provided with ground fault protection for personnel. Question 4. Where type NM cable is used as the wiring method for home runs for power and lighting branch circuits in a dwelling, the minimum size copper required is 14 AWG, 12 AWG, 10 AWG, either A or B. The uses and ampacity ratings of conductors for general wiring are found in Article 310. Section 310.3 specifies the minimum size of conductors for general wiring shall be 14 AWG copper or 12 AWG aluminum except as permitted elsewhere in the Code. Question 5. When single-phase, 125-volt, 15 or 20 ampere receptacles are housed in a device box located outdoors in a wet location, the receptacles shall have an enclosure that is listed as whether or not the attachment plug cap is inserted, watertight, extra duty, weatherproof, raintight. Article 406 covers the rating and installation of receptacles. Section 406.9, b1, addresses the installation of receptacles of 15 and 20 amperes placed in a wet location and specifies where the plug-and cord connection to receptacles is in a wet location. The enclosure is required to be weatherproof regardless of whether or not the plug is inserted. Question 6. For one-family dwellings supplied by a single-phase, 120/240-volt system, and having a 200 ampere rated inverse time circuit breaker for the main disconnecting means, what minimum size THWN aluminum conductors are permitted for use as ungrounded service entrance conductors? Given, no adjustment or correction factors are required. 2/0 AWG, 3/0 AWG, 4/0 AWG, 250 kmil. Section 310.12 of Article 310, Conductors for General Wiring, permits the values given in Table 310.12 for use when sizing service and feeder conductors under this condition. The table indicates size 4/0 AWG aluminum conductors are the smallest size permitted for a 200 ampere rated service if no adjustment or correction factors are applied. Question 7. If a 1/3 in, deep, single gang, type FS device box houses a duplex receptacle, How many insulated size 12 AWG conductors are permitted to be enclosed in the FS box? 4, 5, 6, 8. Article 314 governs the installation and use of all outlet and device boxes. Table 314.16, A, shows 6, size 12 AWG conductors are permitted in the FS box. However, Section 314.16, B, 4, tell us the number of conductors allowed in the box shall be reduced by 2, due to the receptacle contained in the FS box. Therefore, the box is permitted to have only 4, size 12 AWG conductors. Question 8. The required 15 or 20 ampere receptacle outlet for a peninsular countertop or work surface in the kitchen of a dwelling must be located not further than from the outer edge of the peninsular countertop, 12 inches, 24 inches, 18 inches, 20 inches. Part 3 of Article 210 provides the general requirements for the required 125-volt, single-phase 15 and 20 ampere receptacle outlets in a dwelling unit. Section 210.52, C, 2b, specifies at least one receptacle outlet shall be located within 2 feet, 24 inches, of the outer end of a peninsular countertop or work surface. Question 9. In compliance with the rules established by the NEC, all 120-volt, single-phase, 15 and 20 ampere branch circuits supplying outlet or devices in specific areas or rooms of a dwelling unit shall be provided with arc fault circuit interrupter protection. Where type NM cable is used as the wiring method for home runs in the dwelling, the maximum length of the cable from the overcurrent device to the first outlet shall not exceed __________ 4 size 14 AWG NM cable and ________ 4 size 12 AWG NM cable. 50 feet, 75 feet, 40 feet, 60 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet, 50 feet, 70 feet. Section 210.12 of Article 210, Branch Circuits, explains the rules for AFCI protection. 210.12, A, 4, B, calls for the conductors to have length restrictions to the first outlet from the overcurrent device, based on the size of the conductors, 50 feet for 14 AWG and 70 feet for 12 AWG conductors. Question 10. The code mandates a clearly labeled emergency disconnect is to be provided at each service for 1 and 2 family dwelling units. The emergency disconnect is permitted to be installed at an accessible location in the garage, in a readily accessible location outdoors, anywhere outdoors, in a readily accessible location within 6 feet of the garage entry. Section 230.85 tells the reader the required emergency disconnect provided for 1 and 2 family dwellings is to be installed in a readily accessible outdoor location. Question 11. A general code rule is, as viewed from the front of a switchboard or panel board, the _________ be the phase having the higher voltage to ground on 3-phase, 4-wire delta connected systems. A phase shall, B phase shall, C phase shall, any phase is permitted to. The high leg, the phase having the higher voltage to ground, is common on a 240/120-volt, 3-phase, 4-wire center tap grounded system, and Section 408.3, E1, explains the high leg must be designated as the B phase. Section 110.15 requires the high leg to be identified and marked as orange in color. Question 12. Which of the following single-phase receptacle outlets in a dwelling are required to have ground fault protection for personnel? A 250-volt, 30-ampere clothes dryer receptacle in the utility room. A 125-volt, 20-ampere receptacle in the kitchen for a built-in waste disposer. 125-volt, 15 or 20-ampere receptacles located above a kitchen countertop. All of the above. Section 210.8, A, tells us all 125-volt through 250-volt receptacles installed in locations specified in 210.8, A1 through A11, including kitchens, laundry areas, etc., are required to have GFCI protection. Question 13. Where 1 and 2 family dwellings are supplied with a single-phase, 120/240-volt electrical system from the local utility company and the service demand load is not more than 400 amperes, for sizing the ungrounded, phase, service entrance conductors, the conductors shall be permitted to have an ampacity of not less than of the values shown in Table 310.16, 70%, 75%, 80%, 83%. Section 310.12a allows the service entrance conductors to have an ampacity not less than 83% of the service rating. Question 14. Where four or more current carrying conductors are installed in a common raceway, the ampacity of each current carrying conductor must be determined by applying the percentage values as given in table of the code, 310.15, b, 2, a, 310.15, b, 1, 1, 310.15, c, 1, 310.15, b, 3. The percentage values shown in Table 310.15, c. 1, are to be applied to the ampacity of conductors when four or more current carrying conductors are installed in the same raceway or cable. Question 15. Where an inverse time circuit breaker is used as a disconnecting means for an air conditioning unit, the ampere rating of the circuit breaker shall be not less than of the AC nameplate rated load current or branch circuit selection, whichever is greater. 115%, 125%, 150%, 175%. Section 440.12a.1 requires the ampere rating of the disconnecting means to be at least 115% of the motor compressor nameplate rated load current or branch circuit selection, whichever is greater. Question 16. What is the required size 75°C copper service entrance conductors for a 200 ampere, 120/240 volt, single-phase commercial service where elevated ambient temperature is not a concern? For /0 AWG, 3/0 AWG, 2/0 AWG, 1/0 AWG. Table 310.16 gives the ampacities. For a 200A commercial service at 75°C, 3/0 AWG copper, rated 200A, is the required size. Question 17. In reference to the mechanical execution of electrical work, the 2023 edition of the NEC states, electrical equipment shall be installed in a professional and skillful manner, with neatness and completeness, skillfully, with good workmanship, according to the rules established by the local authority having jurisdiction. As per Section 110.12, electrical equipment shall be installed in a professional and skillful manner. Question 18. Ceiling suspended, paddle, fans weighing more than shall be supported independently of the outlet box, 35 pounds, 50 pounds, 30 pounds, 70 pounds. Section 314.27, c, specifies that outlet boxes specifically listed to support ceiling-mounted paddle fans shall not support fans that weigh more than 70 pounds unless supported independently. Question 19. Where a 112/1/2 kVA transformer having a single-phase, 120/240 volt secondary is installed at a multifamily dwelling unit, the full load current rating, in amperes, of the secondary is 938 amperes, 625 amperes, 313 amperes, 469 amperes. I equals, kVA * 1000, /E equals, 112.5 * 1000, /240 equals 468.75 or 469 amperes. Question 20. No grounded conductor shall be attached to any terminal or lead so as to the designated polarity, change, reverse, energize, ground. The rule established by Section 200.11 does not permit the grounded, neutral, conductor to be attached to any terminal or lead so as to reverse the designated polarity. Question 21. In compliance with the code, liquid-tight flexible metal conduit, LFMC, enclosing power and lighting circuit conductors is not considered an effective ground fault current path where the length of the LFMC exceeds 8 feet, 6 feet, 10 feet, 4 feet. 250.122(6)d tells the reader where the flex is longer than 6 feet it is not considered an effective type of equipment grounding conductor. Question 22. For a three-phase, continuous duty, induction type motor, Table 430.250 is not used to determine the for the motor, required ampacity of the supply conductors, ampere ratings of switches, branch circuit short circuit and ground fault protection devices, overload protection. Section 430.6, A2, indicates the ampere rating, FLA, provided on the motor nameplate is used to size the overload protective devices. Table 430.250 is used for other calculations. Question 23. As specified in the code, where are you required to make the connection between the equipment grounding conductor and the grounded neutral conductor at a 208Y/120 volt, 3-phase, 4-wire service? Within the service disconnect enclosure, at the termination of the grounding electrode conductor, within the meter enclosure, either B or C. Section 250.24, requires an unspliced main bonding jumper to connect the equipment grounding conductor and the service disconnect enclosure to the neutral within the enclosure. Question 24. Given a hot tub is located in the common area of a multifamily dwelling unit, a clearly labeled emergency shutoff or control switch for the purpose of stopping the motor S of the water recirculation and jet system is required to be installed for the users at a readily accessible location and not less than from the hot tub, 15 feet, 6 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet. Section 680.41 requires a local disconnecting device not less than 5 feet away from the hot tub. Question 25. The disconnecting means for air conditioning or refrigeration equipment shall not be located within 3 feet of the equipment, directly above the equipment, more than 6 feet from the equipment, on panels that are designed to allow access to the equipment. Section 440.14 prohibits the disconnecting means to be located on panels that are designed to allow access to the equipment or to obscure the equipment nameplate. Question 26. The required support distance for exposed vertical rigid metal conduit, RMC, risers from industrial machinery or fixed equipment, where the RMC is made up with threaded couplings, the conduit is supported and securely fastened at the top and bottom of the riser, and no other means of intermediate is readily available is 10 feet, 20 feet, 15 feet, 25 feet. Section 344.30, B3, permits the exposed vertical risers of RMC from industrial machinery or fixed equipment to be supported at intervals of 20 feet under specified conditions. Question 27. When installing an emergency backup generator with an output of 22 kilowatts, single phase, 120/240 volts for a farmhouse, the ampacity of phase conductors from the generator terminals to the first overcurrent protective device shall not be less than of the nameplate current rating of the generator where the design of the generator does not prevent overloading, 92 amperes, 212 amperes, 106 amperes, 115 amperes. Section 445.13 specifies 115% of nameplate rating. I equals 22,000/240 equals 91.67A, 91.67 1.15 equals 105.4A, round to 106 amperes. Question 28. For freestanding type, cord and plug connected office furnishings, which of the following is not permitted? A multi-wire branch circuit used to supply receptacle outlets and luminaires in the freestanding office furnishing, where the freestanding office furnishing contains 10, 15 ampere, 125 volt duplex receptacles. A flexible power supply cord supplying the freestanding office furnishing that is extra hard usage, size 12 AWG. The receptacle that supplies the freestanding office furnishing is located 12 inches from the freestanding type office furnishing. Section 605.9, d, does not permit an individual office furnishing to contain multi-wire circuits. Question 29. According to the code, flexible metal conduit, FMC, enclosing circuit conductors is not approved for use as a type of an equipment grounding conductor in trade sizes larger than 2 inches, 1/2 in, 1/4 in, 1 inch. 250.118, 5, specifies where FMC exceeds trade size 1/4 in. It is not approved for use as an equipment grounding conductor. Question 30. What is the minimum size wire-type copper equipment grounding conductor required for a 20 ampere rated branch circuit installed in PVC conduit that supplies a swimming pool pump motor? 14 AWG, 12 AWG, 10 AWG, 8 AWG. Section 680.21, A, mandates an insulated copper equipment grounding conductor not smaller than 12 AWG. Question 31. Where installed for services of 1000 volts or less, Type 1 SBDs shall be connected to the grounded service conductor only, the grounding electrode conductor only, the equipment grounding terminal and the service equipment only, all of the above. Section 242.13, B, 1-4, gives 4 locations and any of these are acceptable. Question 32. Where size 4 AWG the copper conductors are connected to termination lugs having a temperature rating of 60 in a panel board, what is the ampacity of the conductors? 65 amperes, 85 amperes, 70 amperes, 95 amperes. Per section 110.14, c, since conductors are connected to 60 degrees Celsius terminations, the ampacity must be selected from the 60 degrees Celsius column, 70A. Question 33. The dedicated equipment space above outdoor installed switchgear, panel boards and motor control centers, of 1000 volts or less, extends from final grade to a height of not less than above the equipment. This space is dedicated for the electrical installation, 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 inches, 6 feet, 7 inches, 8 feet. Section 110.26, E, 1, c, specifies a height of 6 feet above the equipment. Question 34. As a general NEC rule, where ambient temperature, voltage drop, and the number of current carrying conductors are not a factor, what size 75 copper ungrounded, phase, feeder conductors are required to supply a 200 ampere continuous load? 2/0 AWG, 3/0 AWG, 4/0 AWG, 250 kmil. 200 A continuous load requires conductors sized at 125% equals 250 A, 250 kmil copper, rated 255 A at 75 degrees Celsius, is required. Question 35. Given, a commercial occupancy is to be supplied from a transformer having a 480Y/277 volt, 3-phase primary and a 208Y/120 volt, 3-phase secondary. The secondary will have a balanced computed connected demand load of 416 amperes per phase. The transformer is required to have a kVA rating of at least 86 kVA, 100 kVA, 150 kVA, 200 kVA. kVA equals I*E*1.732/1000 equals 416*208*1.732/1000 equals 149.88 or 150 kVA. Question 36. Where an inverse time circuit breaker serves as a disconnecting means for a hermetic refrigerant motor compressor, the circuit breaker is required to have an ampere rating of at least of the nameplate current rating of the equipment or the branch circuit selection current, whichever is greater. 115%, 120%, 125%, 150%. Section 440.12, A, 1, requires at least 115%. Question 37. Given, you are to install an underground run of trade size 2 inches. Schedule 40 PVC conduit containing 120/240 volt, single-phase service entrance conductors supplying a one-family dwelling. The PVC will not cross under any public streets, roads, driveways or alleys. The conduit is to have a burial depth of at least from final grade, 12 inches, 18 inches, 24 inches, 30 inches. Table 300.5, A, column 3 indicates a minimum burial depth of 18 inches for PVC. Question 38. Where 4 current carrying size 2 AWGTHHN copper conductors are installed in a raceway where the ambient temperature is 100 F, the ampacity of the conductors is ___________, 118.30 amperes, 94.64 amperes, 104.00 amperes, 85.28 amperes. 130A, base, *0.91, temp correction, *0.80, adjustment factor, equals 94.64 amperes. Question 39. When installing underground service conductors for a dwelling where the conductors are not encased in concrete and are buried 18 inches or more below the earth, the conductors are mandated to have the location identified by a warning ribbon that is placed not more than above the underground installation, 10 inches, 12 inches, 8 inches, 6 inches. Section 300.5, D, 2, requires a warning ribbon placed not less than 12 inches above the conductors. Question 40. Determine the required number of 120 volt, 15 ampere general lighting branch circuits for a dwelling unit with 1,950 square foot of habitable space. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 VA/SQ feet *1950 equals 5,850 VA, 5,850/120 *15 equals 3.25, round up to 4 circuits.